This is your Frontier opening bell. It's Thursday, the 7th of September. Time moves really, really fast when you're really busy with a whole lot to cover and digest across Frontier Africa, from the Africa's Climate Summit in Nairobi, Kenya, to the Bank of Zambia's Monetary Policy Committee briefing yesterday, as well as Nigeria's tribunal confirming the victory of President Bola Tinubu at the February presidential election, all the way to India, where the Nigerian contingent says they secured $14 billion in investment promises for the country, and the AFDB's special agri-processing zone training program going on across Nigeria and a few other African countries. This is your Frontier opening bell. Let's get that straight to the market. The Nigerian stock market bucked its roller coaster yesterday by just less than 0.1%. Actually, there was just an interplay of buying and selling sentiments. Nigerian breweries and a few big names declined. Then you saw some upside in a few other big names. We just finished off losing about 26 billion off the market. But of course, if you've made just about 2 trillion naira over the last few sessions, then you can afford to let go of just that a quarter of 100 billion, which we saw in total market value, a pullback on Wednesday. So that's the Nigerian market for you. Still holding the 68,000 index reading very strongly. The BRVM is rolling on, crossed 211 yesterday on the composite, up by 0.35%. The Egyptian market since Monday had been in the green, added almost 1%. On Wednesday. Today is the final trading day of the week in Cairo, 19,224. The Nairobi stock market continued in that downward trajectory, lost 100 reading late last week, and continued to dip, finishing Wednesday at 97.98. Then you got South African stock markets in line with the emerging markets on Wednesday, declining 0.81%, 74,411. There's a pressure, even as we start today's market day, on the rand, trying to break through 19.30 against the US dollar. There's a serious pressure right now on the rand. Again, we've seen the US dollar making a very strong comeback and giving concerns to a number of investors and traders around the world. That's just a summary of the markets for you. Let's move on quickly and get on to see the big news around the East Africa, with the green hydrogen strategy targeting 1 billion direct investment. That's the story. While the NSE, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, introduces what they call the NSE 10, 2 new indices, the N10 and the NSE Bond Index. The whole idea is to rejig the basket of indices within the Nairobi stock market and see if things could move on more rapidly. But we've seen a very serious sell down by both local and foreign investors in the biggest exchange east of the continent. Fitch Rating is placing Gabon on ratings watch, negative on the military coup that happened just about 2 weeks ago. This morning, news came in that the new military leader, the swearing in yesterday, asked all director generals and government agencies to step forward voluntarily to return whatever they've stolen under the previous administration. News also, and that they have to do that within 48 hours just to sum that up, unless they got themselves on the wrong side of the law. So they got 48 hours to step forward. The military leader says they have a list of those who are corrupt and they should voluntarily make those returns to government coffers. In the meantime, the elected president, Bongo, who was deposed just about less than 2 weeks ago, has been given his freedom and says he could travel to anywhere in the world he wants and go for his medical checkup. In the meantime, the Bank of Uganda says it's ready to license Islamic banking products. That's in the news. Also in East Africa, Centum Real Estate, listed on the Kenya market, is lining up for a $20 million investment from the International Finance Corporation. That will help Centum Real Estate to provide roughly 1,900 new homes in Kenya. Let's step into West Africa, where Nigeria is holding some of the biggest news. First, on the electoral victory, which was confirmed by the tribunal late yesterday night. It took several hours of live coverage on television to arrive at that decision. The petition is brought forward by two main challengers of President Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, were overturned by the judges. And that puts paid to that. That, of course, the decision of the tribunal is expected could be challenged up to the Supreme Court. In the meantime, in faraway India, the President Tinubu and his team says they secured $14 billion in investment pledges or promises from a number of Indian companies, about 5 of them, including Indorama, which is the main operator of the Element River State Petrochemical Fertilizer Company. Then you've got the Bharti Enterprises in telecommunications, real estate, and a few other businesses, including those who want to do power. About at least 20 new power plants in northern parts of Nigeria, bringing about 100 megawatts to the mix. All of that in the news this morning as we get on the rest of the week. The active telecommunication voice subscribers in Nigeria grew 13.33% in the first quarter of this year, January to March. That's according to the Statistics Office on Wednesday. And Forex trading via the FMDQ was about 22 trillion naira in the first 7 months of the year. In Mali, the authorities there says they froze exports of raw lithium out of the West African country, while the Central Bank for Central African countries, French-speaking, says they've raised interest rates to 3.25%. And Kaspersky, that cybersecurity global company, has named a new general manager for Africa. That's Andrew Vogues, and he will be leading the operations of Kaspersky across the African continent moving forward. Those were your headlines from West Africa. Let's touch on with Southern Africa. Good news for South Africa. On one hand, but you've got a couple of not so good news in the manner of speaking. The business confidence index rose to about 31 or thereabout, about 33 reading after the GDP surprised 0.6% to the upside, second quarter GDP that was. So the power cuts, however, it's not so good news. It's worsening and that's threatening the state of the economy. And Shoprite has reported 215 billion rand in sales boom and declares about 415 cents final dividend for its full year 2023. In Zimbabwe, annual blended inflation dipped 77.2%. That's the month of August. The figure for the month of July was about 101.3%. And National Merchant Bank of Zimbabwe says its net income was up 28.37%. And on a final note for Southern Africa, the iconic founder of a Pick and Pay, Ackerman, has died at the age of 92. He will be sorely missed. He was the founder of a Pick and Pay, which is listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, or the JSE. Now, in North Africa, Abu Dhabi says its exports office signed a $100 million line of credit with the NBE, that's in Egypt, to boost Emirati exports to the North Africa. In the meantime, Egypt is looking to raise its own industrial production by 19% in the country's 2023-24 fiscal year. Next door, in Tunisia, inflation rises to about 9.3% in August, according to the latest data we're just in the early week days of September. And the BMCI Group in Morocco says its first half 2023 consolidated net profit was up 241.2%. That's a whole lot of money. Congratulations and all the best. Let's get on to the rest of the day. I am Bosin Namafaye. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.